Have you ever heard the story about a guy who was at the gym and he was working out and all of a sudden, I think he either went to the bathroom to change or something like that. And there was some white string like coming out or attached to his nipple. And he started to pull it.
What?
And it was a nerve and he had to go to the hospital. And I think he tried to cut it off at some point too.
No.
Have you never heard that story?
Does it seem like I've heard that story?
Welcome to Hardly Working, the show about life, love, and labor, hosted by the couple that works, plays, and stays together. I'm Kellie.
And I'm SP. And this week, there's only one thing, one person worth talking about, maybe for the rest of eternity, only one thing, and that's Taylor Swift. I'm officially a Swiftie now, everybody. I made the jump. It was incredible. We saw the Eras Tour just a few days ago.
Yeah, we did.
Tell me how'd you thought. Tell me how'd you think. Tell me everything that Taylor Swift synced. That's my best Taylor Swift impression.
Oh,
What'd you think of the concert?
Goodness gracious. I mean, I don't know that there are words enough to describe how I felt about the concert. And I've been to Taylor Swift concerts before. I've been to 2 of them prior to the Eras Tour. Speak Now and Red for those who would like to know. And every time it's been incredible. This was just like a whole other level. To be in a stadium, I was telling you, to be in a stadium filled with so many people. Number one, I don't think I've been around that many people maybe ever in my life, but definitely not within the last couple of years with everything that's been going on. And then to be around that many people and to know that every single person that you're going to interact with, and for it to be true, know that everyone was going to be nice and kind. I mean, I think that was just a different experience. Like I don't think anybody yelled. I didn't see any Karens, or I learned it's Kevins. That's the opposite, by the way.
Oh, Kevins,
Karens and Kevins. I didn't see any of that. Everyone was being so nice and kind. They were helping each other out. They were letting people know where the smaller merch lines were, bar lines were, food lines. They wanted to trade friendship bracelets, which I have some of my favorites on today. Represent. It was just a really cool experience. And she was incredible. I mean, the stamina of that lady.
The stamina.
To do that many shows.
Never could I do that. Not even in my wildest dreams. This show took me from being Mr. Anti to Miss Americana. I will never, ever go out of style. And if I hit some lows, I promise you, I will shake it off and I'll be right back. I can't keep doing this.
I think that was like 4 or 5 Taylor reference things. That was really impressive.
Thank you. I am not a Swiftie. I did go to the concert. I gotta take this off. I tried. I failed.
Yeah.
Here we are. The show was 36 hours long, including 2 openers. I came dressed as Ken.
Hi, Ken.
Hi, Barbie. That was the best part of the whole thing for me.
He did get a lot of people who were saying hi, Ken, to him or wanted to take pictures with him.
It was very fun.
It was really, really fun. I know that you don't like Taylor Swift as much as I do, and I really appreciate you going with me. We also went with my best friend, Simone, and our friend Jansen, and my parents, who I could tell all just had an amazing time. It really, really was a fun time. And for those of you that have gone to see Taylor Swift, I know that you understand the experience. I know that you get it. We don't have to keep talking about it forever.
You
but
keep talking about it while I take this off. I can't be dressed like Ken forever.
It was amazing. And for me, someone who is a Taylor Swift fan, I know that you don't care, but I do. I went night 1 of Los Angeles, and one of our special songs was our song. And for me, who's been a Taylor Swift fan since the beginning, truly used to sit in my room watching CMT, country music television, and would watch country music videos growing up. I remember watching some of Taylor Swift's very first music videos and was just in love with her. I was so happy to have someone that I felt like I could relate to. And so to hear our song, which is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs and one of my daughter's favorite Taylor Swift songs, was really, really, really fun.
Well, I'm glad we did not get to go with our daughter. We did go with our friends. We went with the Shim, with our friend Jansen, who flew in from Utah, because apparently there's no arenas in Utah big enough to hold all of the glory.
There was no stadiums. It was just a stadium tour.
Nothing big enough to hold Taylor Swift. Big enough to hold many tabernacles in Mormon churches. I think they're called tabernacles, but nothing big enough for Taylor Swift, which tells you how big this lady is.
Yeah. It was a good time.
It was a long time. And it took us a whole day to recover from it. We didn't get into bed till 2:30. Picked our kid up at 7 the next morning,
Yeah.
7:30 the next morning. Well, one of us did.
Yeah, I slept. Thank you.
You're welcome, husband of the year. Anyway, anything else about Taylor Swift before we move on and never talk about it again?
No, I just think it was a really special experience that I'll hold with me for a long time.
I'm sorry about the merch.
Yeah, that's okay. It's coming in the mail.
So I went into the merch line not once, not twice, but 3 times. The first 2 times, it was way too long.
Yeah.
So I went right in the middle. It took me about 45 minutes to get through the line in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
And then I got a shirt for Shim. I got a shirt for Kelly. They didn't have one for your mom. And then I got back and Shim got her shirt and you got yours and yours was the wrong size.
So my mom got one.
So your mom ended up getting one.
I never got a chance to ask you, what was the demographic like in that line? Was it mostly like people's boyfriends and husbands standing in line to get merch?
Hard to tell because I think me and your dad were probably 2 out of maybe 5 straight men there. There's no attack on anyone. It's just that's not the demographic. So there were hardly any men in that line.
Oh.
There are many fabulous men there, many women there, all people that I love, but not a lot of dudes. I was surprised with the amount of women that were in line because they were missing big songs
Yeah. Long
for
Live.
a long time.
Yeah. Most of Red.
What's that? Are You Ready For It song? Is that what it's called? Are You Ready For It?
Yeah.
Reputation?
Oh,
Is that what it's called?
Reputation. Yeah.
Yeah, they missed that. Lots of things. But yeah, it was mostly girls because it was like 99% women at the show. So.
Which just proves, by the way, that women tend to be nicer than men for the fact that we could go to a sold out stadium and experience only nice and kind people.
Yeah,
Men are the problem. I'm so sorry.
I saw it on
Unpopular
TikTok.
opinion. I don't actually know.
I saw it on TikTok that someone said, or multiple people said, I realized I'm not afraid of crowds. I'm afraid of men.
It's true.
Because it was a crowd full of cowboy wearing, hat wearing, rhinestone boot wearing women.
Yeah.
Nobody was ever worried.
Yeah.
Until we hit the streets.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
Inglewood.
Yep.
And then it became like a 90s hip hop Snoop Dogg song. And I was like, still a little scary in Inglewood.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. Anyway, it was a good time.
It was.
Before we jump into the bulk of the show, just wanted to give everyone a huge thank you.
Yeah.
A gigantic thank you. We got so many texts, so many DMs, so many messages, even phone calls from people in our life currently, people from our past who we haven't talked to in forever, even our own families hitting us up. In fact, it was our families that came in with not just compliments, but some suggestions as well, which is awesome. But thank you.
Take it all.
Thank you so much to everyone who's listening. You can find us anywhere you find your podcasts. And if you want to watch the show, you can find us on YouTube. Just look for Hardly Working, and you can become one of the nearly 1,300 subscribers that we have on our YouTube channel. You can be the next one and maybe push us over to 1,300. So wherever you're getting your podcasts, thank you. As always, if you want to support the show, that's great ways to do it. Listen to it, give us a rating, leave a comment if applicable. And then if you want to be on the show, if you want your email read or your question, your unpopular opinion, anything like that, you can email us at hardlyworkingfans@gmail.com. That's hardlyworkingfans with an S at gmail.com. So before we jumped in the show, I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I really thought we wouldn't get a lot of feedback for a while. It happened immediately, and we're super duper grateful. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thanks for hanging on. Hopefully you enjoy it as we keep moving forward. With that, we did get some feedback on unpopular opinions. Some people disagreeing with you.
Yeah, and agreeing with me, by the way. It's both.
But really disagreeing.
Yeah, mostly my brother.
Your brother believes in the honeymoon phase, is that it?
Yeah, he does believe in the honeymoon phase. He disagreed with me pretty hard. He said, he didn't really go into it very much. He just said he had 2 things. And one of the things was that he disagreed with my unpopular opinion. And he does believe that the honeymoon phase exists, which if you're keeping up, I don't. So
fair. Well, I mean, the whole thing is unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
So I think Ryan's just got the popular opinion in this
maybe,
case.
I don't know.
Who knows? We're still in the honeymoon stage, the non-existent one, right?
It doesn't exist, yeah.
Love you.
Love you too.
All right. So I do have a few more, but before we jump in, I just want to say it. I'm sorry. Somebody didn't put the tiny Lego that Kelly described in the video.
No.
I'm not going to say who, but the person who spends countless hours slaving over the podcast with love, attention, affection. I forgot it. Really, that's what happened. I forgot. And I'm sorry. We'll work it out.
Yeah, I'll post it on my Instagram or something.
Something like that. We'll find it. All right, jumping in. We had some unpopular opinions sent in as well. The first one, are you ready to jump in?
I am ready to jump in. There's nothing else about our week that you want to talk about?
No, our
It was
week.
all Taylor Swift.
It was all Tay-Tay, all the Tay time, I guess.
Sounds good.
You can send in your unpopular opinions, just like we said before, at hardlyworkingfans@gmail.com, and you can get your unpopular opinion read and discussed on the show. Just like Jansen. Excuse me, not Jansen. Jansen came to the show with us. Love you. Shout out to Jansen. This is from Jameson, and his unpopular opinion, or hers, is... Let me go back. These are almost all food related, so get ready.
Okay.
I hope you're hungry. Something about maybe the BLT from last week?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Stuck with people.
Let's do it. Unpopular opinion. Tabasco is the worst mainstream hot sauce in existence.
I think I'm the wrong person
Why?
to ask this unpopular opinion to, because I don't like hot sauce unless it's Taco Bell mild sauce or whatever hot sauce I had in high school that used to go with my bean and cheese burritos. I don't like hot sauce.
I do like hot sauce.
I know.
I don't put it on everything like some people do. But also, I do agree that Tabasco is trash. It will turn off. They went on to say, if that's your first hot sauce experience, it will turn you off from hot sauce everywhere. Because if you think that's what hot sauce is, like some combination of fire and cigarette and dirt in your mouth.
Is that what it tastes? I mean, I think I've had it, but I don't remember. Is that what it tastes like?
Yeah, I'll bring some next time for the show. I think we have those cute little ones somewhere, but they're probably expired.
Yeah, who knows? But like, I just know that when you go to restaurants, they normally have like Cholula and, is that what it's called? Cholula?
I think so.
And Tabasco sauce. So I just always assume that those are the good ones.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of people love Tabasco. My brother Jason loved Tabasco growing up. I just can't get behind it.
Yeah, I'm a salsa gal. Like, I'll eat salsa. Like, give me hot salsa and all that stuff, which I'm assuming is hot sauce is probably pretty similar to that.
Not
but
at
spicy,
all.
Not.
Salsa and hot sauce,
I'm
totally
not
different.
I'm not a hot sauce person. I like I said, unless it's mild sauce.
So you haven't had it?
I mean, we have it in our house, so I'm sure I've had it on something, but I probably don't like it, which is probably why I can't tell you.
It's probably the same bottle from when we got married.
No, we've had two because you broke the cap off of one.
Okay, well, now who's telling secrets outside of school?
Whoops.
I'm so embarrassed and so ashamed.
So wait, what is your favorite hot sauce then? If it's not not Tabasco,
My favorite,
because that's what we have in the house.
Okay, let's be
for the
honest.
record.
It is. Well, we have multiple. We have the Cholula as well. I think we have a couple other ones. We've got a green one and a red one, and it's yellow on the label with a duck on it, and I don't know what it's called. Came from a chili cook-off once.
Tapatio or El
Tapatio's good too.
El.
No, not that one. I don't know.
I don't know.
But my favorite is fire sauce from Taco Bell because we eat like
Children.
trash. Yeah. But I'm not
Not all
totally
the time.
ashamed of it. Yeah, no, it's a sometimes food, as in
On the road.
some
food.
days of every week. Okay. Next one, they didn't sign it, but their username or email was ADHD Lava Girl.
Okay.
And they're
Hey.
unpopular. Hi. This is tangential about food. I think you'll understand why. They said the first date should always be split 50-50.
Interesting. I don't know that I agree, but I have thoughts.
Give me your
Duh,
thoughts.
I always have thoughts. I think it depends. I understand the thought behind it of like, if you're wanting to have a relationship that's 50-50, then you start off 50-50, right?
Sure.
Right? Would you assume that that's what the reason why she would say that? I think if someone asks you to go on a date and it's you're not blindsided is too strong of a word, but like you're not expecting it. I don't know that you should have to pay, because truly, when I think about it this way, whenever I think about the girl spending, which is wrong, not wrong, but I understand that would mean that, like, I don't know, that girls should be treated a certain way and guys have a certain responsibility. What would you call that? Not the patriarchy, but like social norms, I guess.
Equality?
Like, I understand. Yeah, no, hear me. I understand that me being like, the girl shouldn't have to pay goes with social norms, and this person is breaking social norms. But when I think about girls paying half on a date,
Yes.
I think that means that the date went poorly and the girl is saying, oh, I'll just pay for mine.
So it's more of a social cue.
But I think if you're, what makes it a date is saying like, hey, I'm choosing I want to take you out on this date. So whoever asks is paying for the date.
So in this scenario, though, you're like, if I'm a girl on a date and it goes bad, I offer to pay for half. I'm like, this was horrible. Let me pay for half.
I don't know that everyone does that.
I don't think anyone does that.
Some people do.
No one does. I think that only guys who are like, this isn't going to go anywhere are like, well, I'm not going to pay for your food. Will you pay for half of it? I can't imagine a scenario.
That's a bad guy, by the way, if anyone does that.
For sure. And I'm sure a million women from a million different places have a million different stories of that happening.
Yeah,
I don't think there's ever a time where a woman is like, maybe you can take pity on someone, but not like, this is bad, so I'm going to pay. I think it's the opposite. What you said at the end, though, I agree with that. That I think for me, if I was in this situation, neither of us are actively dating anyone except for ourselves.
He
and by
pays all the
ourselves,
time.
I mean each other. Yes, our merged bank accounts. I think whoever initiates the date
should pay for it.
should pay for the date.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have an understanding, if you're like, hey, I'd love to go out to dinner with you. Things are kind of tight right now.
Yeah.
Would you mind splitting it? Or saying like, how do you feel about this restaurant or that restaurant? That's not going to be, crazy expensive.
Yeah.
You don't need to go to Ruth's Chris for your first date.
Yeah.
Or you can go to the park. You can do a lot of stuff. But keeping it food related, I think if you initiate the date, hopefully you're in a position in your life where you can pay for a meal for two people.
Yeah.
Which I know isn't everybody, but unless you set some expectations, I think the one who calls it is the one who should be paying.
Sure. And not all dates are outside of the house anymore. And not all dates are surrounded by food. And so like you really can figure out a date within your budget if you plan it really well. But here's what I do think. I think after the initial first date, if both parties agree that it's going well and so they continue to go on dates, I think it's up for grabs for whoever pays. And I'm not saying that it's split 50-50, but I think there's something like it signals to people when one person pays for both people to say we're here together. Right. And I think that's an important part of dating is to say, yes, we're in it together. It's not me and you as separate entities. It's we're doing this thing together. And so we're paying for it, which is also why I think it shouldn't be split 50-50. But later on, the girl could pay for the whole date or the guy could pay for the whole date or whoever it is. If it's two guys, two girls, doesn't matter. You can switch off.
So pay for your own food.
Not like
or
that.
don't.
Pay for the other person that you're with to be like to be together. Does that make sense?
I think the key is the first date part because everything
everything after that's up for grabs.
Is up for grabs.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for the last one?
Yeah.
This one was sent in by SP,
which is you.
Me.
Okay.
And I need you to brace yourself.
Okay.
Hold on to that pillow.
Holding on. Comfort pillow.
This is one that I read.
Okay.
And agree with.
Okay. Do you think I'm going to agree with it?
I know you're not.
Okay.
Unpopular opinions. Mine. Oatmeal raisin cookies are better than chocolate chip cookies.
No.
Yes.
Hard no.
And here's why. They taste better. The texture's better. They're less boring. That oatmeal-y consistency with a little bit of sweet raisinness. Raisins get a bad rap. And if it was anything else, even an oatmeal cranberry cookie is going to be better than a chocolate chip cookie. You know what a chocolate chip cookie is? It's flour.
Perfection.
It's flour and chips of chocolate. And they're all mediocre at best. Sometimes people are like, look how big this one is. And I put sea salt on top and the chunks of chocolate are gigantic. Even worse. I think that chocolate chip cookies are maybe the most boring cookie, aside from like a sugar cookie, which unless it's decorated, shouldn't even exist.
Oh my gosh.
Chocolate chip cookies, not only are they not as good as oatmeal raisin, but they're not good at all.
Says the man who eats chocolate chip cookies whenever we make them at home. They're not good at all.
I'm not saying I won't eat them.
Okay, here's the deal. I agree with you that different textures and things like that in cookies can be good. I don't particularly like oatmeal raisin cookies. I like raisins by themselves. I don't like them in things necessarily. It's not my favorite thing. And I'm not saying that chocolate chip cookies are the best. In fact, the best cookie I've ever had is the chocolate chip peanut butter cookie from Disneyland that no longer exists.
Thank God it's
Bring
gone.
it back.
No,
it is.
Nah, that's whack.
You don't like peanut butter cookies either, though, and that's something.
Because
you like peanut butter, but you don't like peanut butter cookies. I don't get it.
They dry your mouth out.
They're not when it's good peanut butter, like moist, good peanut butter. Add some chocolate chips into it. It's really, really great.
It sounds sexy when you say it like that. Describe a peanut butter cookie again. Let me hear it. Just straight to camera.
It's a moist peanut butter chocolate chip cookie, hot out of the oven from Disneyland. Oh, chef's kiss. perfection. And seriously, that is a really good cookie. That and like chocolate cookies with white chocolate chips in them. There's something about that contrast, even though it's both chocolate, that's like really, really good too. I just don't particularly like oatmeal cookies.
I prefer white chocolate over chocolate in general.
Yeah, I know.
Cookies
You prefer
and cream, Hershey
anything
bars,
other
great.
than anything other than chocolate to chocolate.
Yeah, but what
Candy,
we're talking,
sweet stuff or like fruity stuff.
yes, while we're talking about cookies though, and I don't want to throw any companies under the bus, but I think Crumble Cookies is a scam. Just a wholehearted scam.
Well, tell me why.
It's like $4 for a single cookie.
It's $5.
What? You just got 20% more scammed.
You get a free one on your birthday though if you sign up for it. But then it sucks because then you're at liberty, like you're at, that doesn't make sense, but you get
The liberty of whatever
cookies are available. Yeah, because they change them every week for those of you who don't know who crumble cookies are.
Look, I understand expensive treats. We saw it with cupcakes for the last like decade.
Which are my favorite.
We saw it with frozen yogurt, and now it seems to be, you don't like frozen yogurt?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, me either. But now it seems to be expensive cookies.
I know.
I think that there's certain things in life that you elevate them. They can quickly get elevated too high past the point of what's good for them. Grilled cheese sandwiches, perfect the way they are. When you start throwing in 50 different types of cheese that I've never heard of, and all I can taste is blue cheese and arugula, that's no longer a good grilled cheese. I think the same thing happens with cookies. You can make a good cookie and kind of put a little amuse-bouche, a little accoutrement, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You could do that, but to make them like 6 inches in diameter with custard in the middle, deep fried, I feel like I'm at the county fair.
That's true.
And at the county fair, you just have to pay one ticket, not $5, because no one goes in and buys one cookie. You have to buy a half dozen. And so for $1,600, you walk out with 12 cookies, and it's not fun.
Yeah, I hear that.
Sorry, Crumble. Not a sponsor.
Yeah, I also agree with you. I don't know if you said this exactly, but I do agree that there are certain foods that shouldn't be elevated to the extent that people are elevating them to.
Can you think of an example?
Yeah, you just said grilled cheese. 100% agree. Like a grilled cheese is delicious the way that it is. I think you can elevate it a little bit, but once you start adding a million different cheeses and a million different toppings, I'm like, mac and cheese is another one of those things for me. It's so good. I'm sorry, you don't need to add truffle to my mac and cheese.
You don't need to add truffle to anything.
Yeah.
You know why?
Because it tastes bad.
Yes.
We
and you know
agree
where
on
you
that.
find it? With pigs. You
In
know
the
where it
ground.
is? Buried underground in a forest.
Yeah.
There's not much that I want to put inside my body that's buried underground in a forest, has to be sought out after by pigs, and then is sold for a ridiculous amount of money and tastes kind of like, I don't really know how to describe it. It's not like I've had some dirt that tastes better than truffles.
Yeah, I don't. We don't like truffles though. I understand it's like one of those things like cilantro where some people think cilantro tastes really good and some people think it tastes like soap. I understand that the same thing occurs with truffles, but like some people really love it and some people absolutely hate it. And we happen to fall on the spectrum where we hate the taste of it. Yeah. I don't understand why that happens, but it's gross, guys.
With cilantro, it's a genetic thing.
Yeah.
If you have some type of genetic, it tastes like soap rather than cilantro.
Do you want to know something funny though?
Yes.
Is that sometimes, well, it's not funny, but sometimes I love cilantro. I'm a really big cilantro fan. I really love Mexican food a lot. And I put cilantro in like everything that we make. There are some times that cilantro does taste like soap to me, but it's mostly when it hasn't grown, like when it's like baby cilantro.
Micro cilantro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things.
It's like an unripe banana.
Though. Yeah.
When you're like, this banana isn't good yet.
We're speaking of unripe banana.
Our child.
That was such a funny thing this week. You know, kids are learning. She's 8. She's growing up. She wants to be her own person. She wants to know and figure things out on her own. But she's a fruity girl. She loves fruit like so much. So being the good mom that I am, I got some bananas, and she really likes bananas before they have any brown spots on them. She likes them like right when they're past being like unripe, like when they're really yellow, but right after they're green.
It's the same way that I like it. Yeah. Right after the green's gone, it's all yellow with no spots, no stripes, no lines.
Yep. So the bananas that we got were mostly green, starting to turn yellow. And she was like, banana, like, I'm so excited. I want one. And both of us were like, no, like we need to give it like a day. You're not going to like these bananas. Well, she was insistent on trying one of the very green bananas.
So green that you couldn't open it without like a knife.
Yeah. And she learned the very hard way, one banana later,
oh, man.
that we were right. And maybe she should learn and listen to her parents when we tell her things like this banana isn't going to be good.
Yeah. And if you think peanut butter cookies dry out your mouth, which I do think, unripe bananas are even worse. It's not just that they taste different, the texture's different. It like soaks up all the moisture in your mouth. It is not a pleasant experience.
Well, I don't even think she could bite into it.
She did take a bite.
But was it
That's
hard
how
for
we
her?
know. I think she ended up breaking the banana in half.
Yeah.
And it looked bad.
Yeah.
It looked like the banana had like disintegrated, like it hadn't fully formed. And she took a bite and she was like, it's not. And then that was it. Spit it in the trash. But you know what? As a parent, I'm a big proponent for letting kids learn things the hard way when the consequence of it isn't that big. Learning to listen to us when we're like, that's not going to be good when she eats a banana. I'd rather her learn it that way than me being like, don't go on top of the slide. You might fall off. And learning it that way.
That's true.
Which is how I learned it as a kid.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of the surgeons who put my face back together as a child so many times.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, that did happen. And she learned her lesson.
Yeah. Speaking of learning things, do you want to know something I learned this week?
Yeah, duh.
What do you... Sometimes the things you learn can freak you out a little bit or be like, what in the world?
Uh-oh.
Do you think... Well, let me start with a question. Do you think that there is enough ground for everybody in not in the United States, everybody in the world to be buried after they died?
Right. Oh, right now?
Right now. Like once they died. Like, do you think we have enough space?
Yes. For now.
Well, what happens after the for now? What do you think?
I think that over years, more and more sediment builds up. Like on Stonehenge, where they scan the ground underneath, they're like, there's not just Stonehenge here. There's another 3 Stonehenges underneath the soil. So I think maybe over enough time, 6 feet of soil will build up and I really think that we'll just burn bodies. I think that is what we have to do. I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. But I can give you the answer.
Okay.
No, I learned that when you die and you like get a plot of land, that you're renting a plot of land.
The person in the coffin is renting it?
So when you like bury someone, you have to like rent a plot of land. It's not like you buy it. And so they basically sign a like 99-year contract for the plot of land they get buried in. Because after 100 years, something can become a historical landmark, and so you can't like dig it up or like do anything to it.
So the grave becomes a historical
It
landmark?
could be. That's why we have some of those really old cemeteries, like when we went to Boston and stuff like that when you went to visit. Right. But yeah, so after 99 years, they'll dig you up and then rent that plot of land to somebody new, and they also keep track of when. Like how often people go and visit a certain gravesite.
What?
And if somebody hasn't been visited in 50 years, then the contract becomes null and void and they can dig that person up and rent the plot out. But what I also learned.
Oh my, there's more?
This is more. And this part was kind of weird. And I don't know how I feel about it. And if I'm being completely honest with you, I didn't look into it too much more because it kind of freaked me out. But I thought, I was like, oh, so they'll like dig them up and then they'll like burn the bodies. They'll cremate them, which they do. But also there are some companies that will make human remains into compost.
Into soil?
Yes. Isn't that crazy? I couldn't look up any more into that because I didn't want to know anything else. Like I didn't want to know if it was like just for trees or for like vegetables. I didn't want to know any of that stuff. So I just saw it and was like, I'm good. I'm out. That's all I needed to know.
So if someone died in 1973, I'm not good at math.
Yeah, me either.
And no one's visited them, that person can get pulled up now in 2023 and turned into soil.
Oh, yeah, or burned. But
soil is people.
I guess. I don't know. But this is your PSA that if you didn't know that, maybe it might be worth considering being cremated versus being buried.
How do you want to go?
That's a great question.
Not how do you want to die, but
like after I die.
We can work on that too. After you die, what do you want to happen?
I don't know. I think now I might want to be cremated. It hasn't been something I've really thought about. I know my mom wants to be cremated and then tossed in the ocean which I think is really weird. And this is really deep, but isn't that what happened to your dad? Didn't they spread part of his remains in the ocean?
He's dead. So we're going to have to change the log line to this show. Life, love, labor, and death. Life, love, labor, and life after death.
No, but I'm serious. What?
He's dead and was cremated.
And only half of his, is that right? Half of
I don't know the percentage. I just know that he wanted to be put in the Atlantic Ocean. And my understanding is that his brother Seamus did that. But I don't know. He did not specify. My dad didn't specify to me that he wanted me to be there. And as a 19-year-old, I was not going to fly to Florida holding my father's ashes and dump them in a boat. So my uncle did it. And I'm very grateful. Thank you, Seamus, for doing that. That I didn't have to do that. And I don't know where the rest of him is.
I was going to ask, do you know what happened?
No, I have no idea.
It's not funny. I'm so sorry.
It's not funny. It's kind of funny. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. I'd like to be cremated and then
dumped in the Atlantic.
No, to spend eternity with my father.
Yeah.
Hard pass. I don't want to be cremated. I changed my mind.
Okay.
I want to be taxidermied. I want to be taxidermied like an
Hell
animal.
no.
You'll already be dead before that, so you won't have to worry about it.
Wait, does that mean you're going to kill me?
Don't think too much about it.
You heard it here first, guys.
And also, don't look at my computer. But you will die first.
Did you go see like a psychic or something?
Yeah, I did.
You will die first.
You know what's funny is I always used to say like, that's not what the gypsy told me. And then I think I heard somewhere that gypsy is not a politically correct term anymore.
Good to know.
So I don't know what to do.
Psychic is fine.
A psychic, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, no one told me. I'm just having this great idea that I'm realizing now probably came from that movie House of Wax. It doesn't matter. Never seen it. Paris Hilton's in it. Shout out to Paris Hilton.
Isn't that a scary movie? Because I'm 100% sure that I've seen that and it gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
Because at some point in time, literally maybe I'm giving away too much. You've never seen it. Paris
Spoiler alert. Close your ears if you don't know. You don't want to know what happens in House of Wax.
Does die in this movie. But he literally covers someone in wax while they're still alive. And one of the friends finds them and tries to get them out of the wax by using their fingernails to like get the wax off of them and starts taking off their skin. And I like had nightmares. This is why I don't watch scary movies anymore because like you guys do a really good job of making really good scary movies, and it's not realistic because that's never going to happen, but it's just creepy.
I'd like to see a movie called House of the Human Centipede Wax. House of the Human Wax Centipede.
The Human Centipede, you know this, gave me
I've
nightmares and I've never seen it.
I thought you'd seen it.
No.
I've never seen it either.
Honestly, I finally had to watch a clip of what it looked like to get out the like worse view of it in my head.
It was worse in your head.
It was worse in my head than what it actually was. And I knew that. And I had to finally watch a clip of it to get that out. But every now and then I'll think about it and it like freaks me out. I can't do scary movies.
I guess not.
No. And I've seen a lot of them because when I was younger, it's what we did. My friends, we'd watch scary movies.
I'm
too old for that now.
Too old. Well, I don't even know where we started.
I think you want to be taxidermied?
I was like, we started with oatmeal raisin versus chocolate chip,
That's
but here
true.
we go, taxidermy.
But wait,
so thank you.
I'm
coming up with all this on the fly, so who knows? I could have lost it forever. So I get taxidermied.
No.
You're right. We should start further back. So before I die, before I get taxidermied, I'm going to go and do like weird Bill Murray stuff. Like go to Madame Tussauds, I don't know how to pronounce it. Her wax museum and stand there like a wax figure and scare people. And so I start getting a reputation of that. Then when I die, I get taxidermied and they put me in there. We don't tell anyone that I died. I don't tell anyone. You don't tell anyone because we're both dead. Yes, we're both dead in this very real scenario. And then they put me in the museum and they're like, that's the guy. But really, it's not me. It's my taxidermied body. And I'm also not a wax figure. And Hollywood, call me because I think we have something good here.
I don't think we do. Here's what I'll say to this though, because I know you're being silly. I think that we should normalize parents asking their kids what they would like to do, what like their kids would like to do with their body. Does that make sense? That sounds worse than I mean it.
Let me clarify. But like, are you saying normalize the conversation between kids and their parents about when their parents die, to do? It sounded like you were saying what the parents should do with their kid's body.
No. Because my mom's going to listen to this and she's going to know. But my mom wants to be cremated, and then she wants me to put her in the ocean. And I've said this to her face, that's really hard for me to think about. Why are you laughing?
Because you're like, here's what my mom wants to do when she dies. And I've said this to her face. This is what I think about her stupid idea.
No, but
Melody,
listen,
I think you're great.
we love you, Melody.
No, this is Kelly's unpopular opinion.
Because this is where I'm at. I love the beach. The beach is someplace I can go to and I can kind of feel calm.
It's a beach.
We've taken like night walks on the beach
Let's
and
go
had like
get
really
away.
good conversations.
Say what you're going to say. Have a drink. Clink. Found a Bud Light.
All right. We're done. Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. And neither is Nicki
though.
Minaj.
No, neither is Nicki Minaj. But the beach is like a safe place. It's a relaxing place to get away, place for us to have deep conversations. It's like a fun place to take Brooklyn. It's a great place. The idea of spreading someone's remains that I'm so close to, that is literally my mom and like my best friend, I don't know that I would want to go to the beach anymore. And she's always been like, well, then when you go to the beach, you can think of me. And I'm like, I'm just going to be thinking about the fact that like you're out there somewhere.
Yeah, it's in my mouth.
Yeah. It isn't my favorite thought.
Yeah.
So I like normalizing that conversation of what makes sense. Because ultimately I'm the one who's going to go visit you. Your kids are going to be the ones that go and visit you. And shouldn't that be a safe place for us to be there to see you or to choose that? And it's a weird thing, I know.
I agree. And I'm sorry, Melody, you're not going to get buried in the ocean because I respect you too much. I would never dump someone's ashes in the ocean. That's where fish pee. Fish pee in there.
It's true. I think that you actually might have to have a license to do that too. I don't really know.
I think it's actually illegal. I don't think you're supposed to do that. I know how my mom wants to die.
Oh,
she's told me.
Wants to die or wants to be cremated, buried, or whatever after she's dead?
Kind of both.
Okay.
She wants, when she becomes too old and grouchy, and she's so old and grouchy that she doesn't know that she's old and grouchy, she's asked me to push her wheelchair right off the cliff.
My mama said that too.
We could probably do it at the same time. Well, it's good news because my mom's going to live another 100 years.
Mine
and
too.
Maybe never die.
Yep.
So that's perfect. So you should push us off the cliff.
But what does she want you to do with her body afterward?
Oh, I think she's serious.
No, but after the cliff.
Leave her?
You and your mom haven't had the conversation about whether she wants to be buried. Oh, no, she has a plot. She has a plot with where her dad's buried.
Yes.
That's right. I do remember that. There was a whole conversation about selling one of the plots off.
Wow. You're a good listener.
I am a good listener.
Mom, I love you, and don't ever die.
Please.
We have to move on or I'm going to cry.
No. I just want to say this one last thing, though. I don't know if you guys we should normalize the conversation between death, like death in your family with your parents, especially if you're a kid. But you know this. I think you know this. You know that my parents, I don't know if it's their trust or their will or whatever, but they have decided which of the kids will make certain decisions.
Oh, yeah.
And they chose the most emotional one to make the decision of what to do with them if they're ever in the hospital on like life support or anything like that. I'm the most emotional one in the entire family who gets to make the decision. And sometimes I think about that and I go, oh, it's such an honor, like that they would trust me enough to do that. And sometimes I think about that and I think, I'm going to be an emotional wreck. Like there's no way I could ever make that decision. Now, mind you, I know what they want me to do. They've had the conversation, but like the burden of that is like a lot sometimes.
Your parents are so cute. And I
love them so much.
It's
Don't ever die.
Don't ever die. But in this situation that you have full control, it's a great one where they both fell asleep at the wheel at the same time after coming home from their favorite cruise, and they're both comatose holding each other's hand in the hospital bed. And this is the situation at the same time. And this is the situation where you're like, yeah, that's the word picture I get here.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully no one ever dies and no one ever gets hurt ever. And no one gets sick and everyone has enough money to be happy.
Yeah.
And I'm ready to move on.
That took a weird turn. Thanks, everyone.
All right, let me lighten it up with one other unpopular opinion that we don't have to talk about, but we just got to get away from death for a second.
Okay.
The last one that I had found was that American cheese doesn't belong on a cheeseburger. And I think American cheese doesn't belong on anything once you've crossed like 10 years old.
Yeah, I think this is something that you and I talk about or have talked about a lot in the past. I don't think I truly understand the difference between American cheese and cheddar cheese, because isn't American cheese just cheddar cheese? Like, what's the difference?
No. Have you ever had a cheddar Kraft single? Individually wrapped cheddar?
They're the same color.
Yeah. They're the same color.
We do.
Coca-Cola is the same color as asphalt, but they're not the same thing.
You should have said Pepsi, because I would have 100% agreed with you and said they're not the same thing.
Okay, well, you get my point.
Coke is better, by the way, for anyone that's asking or wondering. Yeah, but I agree with you. I no longer like American cheese. I do love Velveeta cheese though, and so do you.
I do.
Velveeta mac and cheese
And Cracker Barrel cheese.
and Cracker Barrel cheese. But yeah, we switched to, we are a cheddar family, or Swiss, but a cheddar, extra sharp cheddar family, and that's because of you. But truly, before I met you, I was like, it's all the same thing.
It's not. And it's because of me, because it's because of my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my mom is very good at, when I was a kid and we had just like split from my step family, I remember my mom would cut coupons and have a ton of coupons, and she was always great about being frugal. One time, the one place she never skimped was on cheese, and I love her for that. We always had like nice, I don't mean like Gruyere. Is that a cheese, a color? I don't know what that is. But we always had like actual like cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
And my dad used to like cut off pieces of, did you ever see those Cracker Barrel cheeses? They looked like a stick of butter.
Yeah.
They're like white
Yeah.
and delicious. He would always like cut off pieces of that. And to me as a kid, that white cheddar cheese was delicious and wonderful.
Yeah.
So we never skimped out on cheese for some reason. And so those Kraft singles, unless you're like 6 years old, they're horrible. I don't think there's cheese in them. If you saw the percentage of cheese in a Kraft single,
It's like,
I don't mean to, crap on Kraft. Any type of American cheese, it kind of reflects the American dream. Something that's not really there for us. Something that's posing as something it's not. I don't know where I'm going with that. It's not real cheese and it's gross. We don't have to keep talking about it. I just had to get away. A palate cleanser, cheese palate cleanser.
you do like cheese though.
I love cheese.
Which is funny because our daughter doesn't necessarily like cheese.
She goes back and forth.
She goes back and forth, but for most of her life, we make her like a ham and cheese sandwich. Number one, she'll eat the sandwich. She'll dissect the sandwich and eat it in separate parts. So like the bread and then the ham. Well, it's the ham and then the bread and then maybe the cheese. But she will take the cheese out of sandwiches.
Yeah.
Except when it's in something. Like if we have Parmesan cheese, that girl will eat it
by the handful.
hand to mouth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's weird. You never know what food
But you love cheese.
peccadillo she'll have. I do love cheese. Just like the American people.
True.
Taking it back there. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So we have a couple minutes left. I wanted to do this with you. I'm calling this Can You Read My Mind?
Okay.
Cue the Killer song. Can you read my mind? Okay. I'm going to use a random word generator.
Okay.
So I haven't even seen this word. I'm going to say the word, count to 3, and then at the same time, we're going to say the word that comes to mind.
Okay.
Little word association. And you can play at home just to see.
What do you think we're going to say?
Okay, you ready for the first one?
Mm-hmm.
First word. Vision. 1, 2, 3.
Bored.
Scarlet Witch. What? Bored?
Vision board.
Oh, I thought you meant like I'm bored. That's good. I could have gone there. Okay.
I think I need less seconds. It doesn't need to be
2
3.
seconds.
Yeah. Because
Got
I
it.
knew immediately.
Really?
But that time. So we'll see what happens.
Still learning. Here we go. Next word. Punch. 2, 3.
Buggy.
Love. What?
Punch buggy.
We don't even know each other.
And my other thing was going to be bowl, a punch bowl.
Oh, that's good too. Dang. 0 for 2 here. Next word. No, we're not. Next word is prevalence.
No.
It's actually like a vocab word I use a lot, but
I don't know.
skip.
Yeah.
Burial.
Ground.
I was going to say plot. I'll take it.
Oh,
What are
plot.
the chances we get burial after that whole conversation?
It's listening.
Thank you. How to stay healthy all the time. How to get your husband the gift he likes. Turquoise jewelry. Next word is album. 2, 3. Cover.
That's what I was going to say, and I didn't say
Why
it.
didn't you
I don't
say
know.
a word? You said nothing.
Cover.
The segment's going real great,
I
guys.
was really wanting you to say cover, and so I was giving all of my energy. versus me actually saying the word cover.
You ready for the next one?
Yeah, I am. I'm really ready.
Tube. 1, 2.
Tied.
Top. Tie?
Tied. Like your tube's tied.
You you went to tubes tied over tube top?
Yeah.
Why don't you just explain to the folks at home who might not know what getting your tubes tied means?
Pass.
Okay, a couple more, and then I'm going to give this to you.
Oh,
And we'll
gosh,
go back
okay.
the other way. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Adoption. 2, 3.
Agency.
Pet. Dang it, we're so bad. Convict. 2, 3. I've got
Killer.
nothing. I had nothing. I think I was so focused on not saying the word. All right.
Do I
Kellie's
just
got
press-
the iPad. For those of you who are not watching, yes, the button right there. If you're not watching it, Kellie's got the iPad. She's now in control. Ready when you are.
Lost. 2, 3. City.
TV.
Okay. I mean, close. Lost City. I'm pretty sure, isn't that the movie with
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe as the bad guy and
Yeah.
Channing Tatum?
And Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of the TV show Lost.
Yeah, I never watched it.
Me either.
Offensive. 2, 3. Language.
Defense. Ugh. We've
We're
got to
bad
get
at
like
this.
one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Aquarium. 2, 3. Of
Fish.
the Pacific.
Oh no! I was gonna say that.
I really thought you were gonna say that.
Oh,
so I
we
was
need
like,
rules.
I'll do
I
it.
didn't know that I could use a phrase
Yeah, it's
instead of
whatever
just a
you think
word.
about.
Okay. We're gonna get a few.
Dialogue. 2, 3.
Box. Dialogue coach?
A dialect coach, huh?
A dialogue coach? Oh my gosh.
All right.
I don't know if we should even have a podcast together anymore. I thought we knew each other. I was like, this will be an easy segment. People will think we're so cute. Now they'll think we know nothing.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Glass. 2, 3. Where?
Ceiling.
What glassware? Glass ceiling. Okay.
Hit me with another one.
Star. 2, 3.
Wars. Yeah! Oh, such nerds.
Are we ending on that one?
No, heck no. That was a lame one to end on. We will end on one that we get right. So it may take 45 minutes, but we got this. Hit me with another few.
Dragon. 2, 3. Masters.
Slayers. Dang it.
Gosh. Automatic. 2, 3.
Car. Okay, but I feel like that was easy.
Yeah. Cycle. 2, 3.
Soul.
Period.
Oh.
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else.
I went to Soul Cycle.
Soul Cycle is good.
Shout out Corey Live.
Koi Live. Nerve. 2, 3.
Damage.
I got nothing.
It's a weird feeling,
I
right?
know,
When
it
you're
was
like, I don't even know what
It
I'm
was
going
like
to say.
wreck, but I was like, that's nervous wreck,
Mm-hmm.
not nerve.
No. All right. 3 more and let's
Wait,
get out.
can I say this random story in between this though?
Heck yeah.
Have you ever heard the story about
Yes.
about a guy who was at the gym and he was working out and all of a sudden, I think he either went to the bathroom to change or something like that, and there was some white string like coming out or attached to his nipple, and he started to pull it.
What?
And it was a nerve, and
Oh,
he had to go to the hospital.
oh.
And I think he tried to cut it off at some point too.
Oh,
It's
no.
kind of
Oh,
crazy.
no.
Have you never heard that story?
Does it seem like I've heard that story?
Isn't it gross?
That's the grossest
He
thing
just
I've ever
kept
heard.
pulling it. He really just thought, I don't know what he thought it was coming out of his body, but he kept doing it. Yeah, he had to go to the hospital. I don't know how it
I
ended.
bet he thought it was like a parasite or something, and he thought he was doing himself a favor.
Yeah, but it was just a nerve that he was like pulling out of his body, which I don't number one, I don't understand how that happens and how that works, but also that was also my reaction. I was like,
If you've heard of that or you have a link to the story, send it to hardlyworkingfans@gmail.com.
or maybe don't, because we don't
Oh my
necessarily need it. I've
gosh.
already read it.
It's also my first show drinking my favorite sparkling water, Topo Chico.
Not a sponsor.
And, not a sponsor yet. And makes me burpy, which I like in general.
Have you
but
burped yet on the show?
I have. I keep going, like, turning my head to the side.
I haven't noticed.
I'm like, hopefully the
You're
camera
doing a
stays
great
on
job.
Kelly. Okay, let me hit you with 3 more, and then I've got a couple stories, and we'll get the heck out of here. Here we
Sounds
go.
good.
Next word is loading. I'm just kidding. That's not
Like,
really the
it's
word.
loading? Okay.
As in it is loading. All right, here we go. Pest. 2, 3.
Control.
Yes. Okay. Come on. 3 for 3. Ready? Flower. 2, 3.
Power.
Child. Ugh.
I mean, it's kind of similar. Like same realm, flower, power, flower, child.
Okay, last one. Soil 2, 3. Dead
Dirt.
people.
I was gonna say dead people. It's like dirt.
We'll work
Wait,
out
one
the
more,
kinks.
one more.
Okay.
I feel it in my bones.
Let me find a good one. Trivial 2, 3.
Pursuit.
Yeah, baby. Oh man, I don't know if I should feel happy or sad after that.
I don't know. I feel like we could do better
Next week.
Maybe
Next week,
all the
we'll-
talk of dead like threw us off. Who knows?
Oh gosh, it was something. Okay, so I have just a few quick stories that jumped on my radar this week, and I wanted to hit you with a few of them. You ready?
Okay.
First one, the headline is, "Help me, Jesus. Snake falls out of sky, lands on woman, then both get attacked by a hawk."
What?
This is a real story. It happened in Houston. It was published on August 4th, and today is the 6th, maybe?
What kind of snake was it?
I don't know, but this story, I'll put the photo in at some point. This is her, arm wrapped up. Oh, you can see it here. Wonderful. I'm not going to show everything because it gets really graphic. Listen to this. A snake fell out of the sky and landed on a woman mowing her yard. Peggy Jones is her name.
Hi,
Jones
Peggy.
was on her tractor, just for context. Let's paint this picture
Where's
here.
that?
In Silsbee near Beaumont in Texas.
Texas makes sense.
Texas. She describes how suddenly a snake fell on her, wrapping around her arm. Are you ready to see this? And then you could tell me if we can show this.
I don't think you can show that.
I don't think so
That's
either.
really graphic.
Let's do it fast. If it looked like someone drew up their arm, that's exactly what it looks like. I couldn't believe how bad it was. It says the hawk eventually ripped the snake off of her arm and flew away with it.
Wait. So is that mark on her arm from the snake wrapping so tightly around her arm?
It's from both. The snake was squeezing so hard, and I was waving my arms in the air, and then this hawk started swooping down and clawing at my arm over and over.
Bet you that the hawk had the snake and dropped the snake, and the snake was just trying to get away.
How else would a snake have
And
fallen
hold
out of the
on.
sky?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's Peggy Jones explains. I just kept saying, "Help me, Jesus! Help me, Jesus!" The hawk eventually ripped the snake off. I was yelling and screaming. He didn't. My husband didn't know what I was saying. He thought I was bit by a snake. Husband took her to the emergency room. There
Good.
was no snake bite.
Good husband.
Just tons and tons. I don't want to show anybody
Don't
the photo
show it.
because it is pretty gruesome.
I think it'll get taken off of YouTube if you show it for the record, because it might be too gruesome.
It probably would be.
It's bad.
So you got to look up the story for yourself. The last quote says, "I feel like the luckiest person alive to have survived this."
It's good.
I think that's stupid.
Yeah, I think there are other
If you
things.
get a snake dropped on your arm and then attacked by a hawk, you're disqualified in the running of being the world's luckiest person.
I would agree with that.
Like you are not. You're lucky to be alive.
That's
but,
so funny.
Oh, it was bad. All right, I have a couple other ones.
Okay.
We'll see what we get to. This next one I liked, though. It's from The Observer. The headline is, 57 swimmers fall sick and get diarrhea at World Triathlon Championship in Sunderland.
No.
Yes. 2,000 people are competing in this triathlon. Is that what it is, triathlon? Yeah. 2,000 people. Out of them, 57 people got sick because, and they should have said this, some agency over there measured what was in the water like 3 days prior for the swimming portion. And here's what it says. It showed 3,900 E. coli colonies per 100 milliliters of water, more than 39 times percent higher than typical readings.
Oh my gosh.
E. coli.
And they let them swim in it?
Yes, they let them swim in it. Here's what some of them had to say. Have been feeling pretty rubbish since the race, but I guess that's what happens when you swim in crap. They didn't say crap. This swim should have been canceled. Another athlete who did it said, "At least I know what got me and a bunch of other athletes who raced sick and ill. That now explains why I spent Monday night with my head in the toilet after racing Sunday morning." The event was on a stretch of coastline that has been at the center of a long-running battle over sewage discharges between campaigners and the government concerning regulatory failures.
I mean, whoever planned this triathlon obviously did a terrible job.
in potty water.
Yeah. Disgusting.
It is super gross.
I mean, it is. But like, You think you'd do some research if you're going to a triathlon too?
Would you? Or
I
would
mean-
you assume that the people putting it on wouldn't put you in potty water?
I mean, I think I would assume that, but also I'd probably be doing a triathlon somewhere in my area, and so I would be aware of like the water.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So for me, I'm like, you guys weren't aware that this is potty water?
It's potty water. It's terrible.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
So
well,
sorry to all those people.
Sorry to 57 people who got sick there.
It's gross.
Still, I mean, not a bad ratio, 57 out of 2,000, but that is disgusting because you know
gross.
that everyone had it in their mouths and their bodies, and it's gross. And I'm sorry that you had potty water on you. Ba-da-da, bing. Oh, man, that's going to flag us for a copyright because of the song, huh?
Probably not.
Yeah, just kidding. I made it up just now. So all that to say, don't exercise, I think is the moral of this
that's not
story.
what they're saying.
Don't exercise.
No.
Don't swim. Definitely don't do triathlons.
No, maybe just do a little bit of research before you enter a triathlon or anything else like that.
Don't exercise.
Just do a little research.
All right. Last, third, and final story before
Okay.
we get out of here. This one was interesting. Excuse me. I got my Topo Chico over here.
Topo Chico.
So this popped up on my Alexa, which I say quietly so it doesn't trigger anybody's Alexa. Popped up.
Alexa!
Oh my gosh.
Stop listening. You're
Oh.
welcome.
Alexa. Hey, Google.
Okay. Give me the story.
Our Alexa just went off in here.
Stop
Here's
listening.
the story. Twitch streamer Kai Cenat, I assume that's how you say it,
Okay.
charged over Union Square riot. So Twitch, if you don't know what Twitch is a platform where people who are playing video games stream them playing and talk and engage with their audience. There's also other talk shows, different things you can do on there, but it's predominantly for streaming video games.
Gamers, yeah.
So this guy, what happened was he's like, hey, I've got all of these brand new PlayStation 5s. I've got gift cards. I've got all this stuff. Meet me at Union Square in New York at this time, and I'm going to give them away for free. In the video, he's got what looks like stacks of gift cards and PlayStations and that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it looks legit, yeah. And it may have been legit, but so many people, thousands of people, it's not up here, but thousands of people like went to Union Square.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know anything about video game culture, but they're not always the kindest people.
I could assume.
Painting with a broad brush here, but if you ever watch videos of, people who aren't good at video games, playing video games
They
online,
get pretty upset.
They get mad. They call them terrible names and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They really showed up in full force here.
So-
6 people got injured at this, what turned into a riot.
Wait. So people came
Thousands and thousands of people came. You see that?
to Union Square in New York City
In New York City
to get PlayStation or
Yes.
gift cards. Did he?
And- Go ahead.
I was going to say, did he say how many he had and how many he was going to give away?
I don't think he did. You
Okay.
could see it in the video.
Okay.
And I could be wrong. Not a news source here, just entertainment. But he said he was going to be there. I think what happened was so many people showed up and they probably realized we're not all walking away with something. There's thousands of people here.
Yeah.
He definitely doesn't have thousands of things.
Yeah.
And so people started like throwing down and fighting. The cops showed up and started arresting people. 6 people got injured. Whoa. 6 people got injured. And they're now pressing charges. The New York City police is pressing charges against the YouTube streamer for, amongst other things, inciting a riot and different stuff like that. The reason I want to talk about this was because I think it's ridiculous to charge this YouTube streamer for the injuries that happened or starting a riot. Because is this not nearly as bad as what's happened at pretty much every Black Friday event at Walmart, Target, and the mall that we've been
I have a
alive
question
for?
though. Was he actually there?
Yeah. Yes, he did show up and quickly got back into an SUV.
Because he got scared.
I think so. I don't think they've interviewed him. If they have, I haven't put it out. Quickly gets back into an SUV.
Okay.
People start jumping on the SUV and it starts driving through New York City streets with like truly probably 8 people on top of or on the sides of the SUV. And the news story ended. It was live and this broadcaster goes, oh, someone just fell off the back of the car, and then it cut away.
Wait, is that how the 6 people got injured though? Was from the car?
No, It didn't say. My impression was it could have been from the people rioting, but it also could have been when the police came in, and either if they were using force or people were, pushing off the police or doing whatever they were doing. I have no idea. I'm not pointing fingers, but I don't think falling off the car was one of the injuries.
Okay.
But how is this different from people dying at Walmart to get a $100 TV? Why is Walmart not getting charges? Or sorry, Walmart, not a sponsor. Why aren't department stores held accountable the same way that this presumably like mid-20s kid is?
Because I would say that that's a corporation that's saying, hey, we're offering this thing. They have different things too. They have things in place. When you see the little things that say like limited supplies or like while lasts or like certain restrictions, all those stuff. I think as a corporation, you have certain things that protect you in this. Like you also have certain rules. Like you show up at this time, we're going to have an orderly line that you can like stand and all that stuff. They've learned. This was just one guy that was like, I'm going to give away all of this stuff at this random place that I haven't asked or gotten a permit for or anything like that. I have no rules around it. Just show up and I'll give it to you. Like
it's a public place. Listening.
I was like, what is the phrase? It's proper planning prevents poor performance, which
Something
isn't
like
quite
that,
right for this, but it is. But like he obviously didn't properly plan or consider what could happen or how many people could show up.
Yeah.
And because of this one person acting on his own, people got hurt.
Yeah, that happened a few years ago, and haven't gotten any justice for that one either.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, I would say this is very different than a department store who has things up and also who has like multiple locations that you can go and get things and do things versus like one person being like, come and I'll give away all this stuff. He's an idiot. I don't know who he is, but you're an idiot for doing that because you shouldn't have done that. You should like, there's people that do that say the first person to come and find me, like I'll give you this thing. I think that's totally okay. And if that's your goal in getting like more followers or more people to see you, I think that's awesome. But whenever you plan stuff ahead of time that way and you aren't prepared for it, it's always going to end poorly.
Yeah, my guess is that this Twitch streamer doesn't have a background in event planning and giveaways. Yeah. Probably not.
Probably
Listen to this. At the height of the riot, shouting teenagers swung, of course it's teenagers, swung objects at car windows, threw paint cans, and set off fire extinguishers. Some people climbed on the moving vehicle, falling off as it sped away. Others pounded on or climbed atop city buses.
Oh my
Police
gosh.
made 65 arrests, including 30 juveniles, meaning kids under 18.
Dang.
Yeah, it was no joke. So they're saying that this guy Kai is facing 3 charges, including riot, first degree, or maybe riot, first degree, causing public injury and damage. I don't know. Those are the 3. I don't know what first degree is, but it says...
Did someone die?
It doesn't. No one died. He says he faces 2 misdemeanor charges of inciting a riot and unlawful assembly. So they may get him like they got Capone on tax evasion. They're gonna get him on like you didn't have a permit for this.
Yeah, that's why I said you didn't have a permit.
But it wasn't supposed to be an event.
Yeah, no. But how much time did he give in advance to like tell people, hey, you have like from the time that he said he was doing this, to the time the event happened, how much time was it?
It's a long article.
Okay,
I don't know.
But here's the deal. If you give anyone time, you give people enough time to actually get to the place that you're trying to get to. You should prepare.
Someone said, Madre said a 17-year-old was hospitalized from what initially believed was a gunshot wound.
See? This is why we don't.
But
what was it?
It's actually a firework injury.
Oh my gosh. Fireworks are also illegal. So
who brings fireworks?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
That's a crazy story.
Oh, it just keeps getting better and better and better. I don't ever want to see people get hurt.
No.
Unless they're, people who hurt people.
Yeah.
But that's pretty wild. Those are my 3 stories for today.
Well, thanks for sharing, SP.
Thanks for listening. Do you have a good time?
I did have a good time. I hope you guys had a good time too. We'd love to hear your stories, love to hear your unpopular opinions, love for you to just talk to us about your life. We're here for it. What?
That's right. You can always email anything, questions, comments, concerns, unpopular opinions, or even follow-ups on things that we said, got wrong, anything.
Yeah.
You can email us at hardlyworkingfans@gmail.com.
Yeah. So before we sign off, what are you looking forward to next week?
Next week's pretty chill, to be honest. It's going to be a good week to recover because our August went from pretty chill to kind of busy very fast. Mm-hmm. I've got an event I'm really excited about. I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about, but it's up in Northern California for a premiere of something. It's probably more as much as I can say,
That's
but
next
I'm
week, huh?
very excited. What's that?
That's next week. Or 2
Yeah,
weeks.
I think it's next week. I don't know. We've got that. You've got an event that you literally can't talk about. You
yeah.
are non-disclosured, and that's pretty cool that we're
Yeah.
doing some stuff like that. We'll be able to talk about all of these things once
Eventually,
they've happened
yeah.
eventually. But yeah, we got a big week coming up. And then honestly, I'm just trying to soak in summer because our kids start school again.
Coming up here soon.
Yeah, she's going to be starting 3rd grade, which is very cool, very exciting for her. And for us, we love the school that she's at.
Yeah.
And it's just sad because
Summer's been fun.
summer's been fun. We can talk about it for a minute. I know there's all sorts of different parents and families in the world. For us, we love being parents. We love our kid. We love our little family. And because our jobs, which we haven't talked about on the show very much, like what we
We'll
do.
get there, yeah.
But we don't have normal 9-to-5 jobs. We run our own businesses and we're independent contractors and all sorts of things. But that means that if our kid has a whole week off of school, we don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job and then get a couple hours with them in the evening.
Yeah.
We literally have every day of the week with our kid, which might sound like torture to some people, but for us, like we love it. We're hitting the pool, we're hitting the beach, we're going to the movies, we're having a chill day at home, all of this kind of stuff. So I'm actually a little bit bummed that we're wrapping up the summer here because it's been such a fun summer and it happened so quick. It felt like just like 2 weeks ago that Brooklyn was like, I don't want to go to summer because I want to stay in school.
She does love school.
She does love school. She hasn't lived enough life in school to know that it gets really taxing at some point.
Yeah.
Would you ever homeschool our daughter?
No. I love her so much, but
Why?
why?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's just say this. So Brooklyn likes doing work, like schoolwork. She enjoys it. She's really smart. And it's something that I value, and I think you do too, is making sure that she, not trying to take away from her summer or her winter vacations, but just trying to keep her sharp, make sure that she feels like she's learning and never behind because she doesn't like that feeling.
Yeah.
But we've been I've done homework with her during the school year, and I've also done, like, it's a Quest book. It's the brand with her.
Brand Quest, yeah.
She gets frustrated when she doesn't understand anything, and she isn't quite at the age yet to be able to ask the correct questions like, help me understand, or like, I don't get that. Can you say it again? She just kind of shuts down and gets upset. And she is, unfortunately for her, she's learning, but shame is a big part of her life. She shames herself pretty easily. And she's really hard on herself.
Right.
She doesn't get it. She's like the worst person in the world to herself. And I love her so much. And there's only so much you can say to her in those moments.
Right.
She really has to like take time for herself and bring herself out of them, or like really sit in the emotions. I couldn't imagine doing school with her to work through that. I'm happy to work through that stuff with her emotionally when it comes to boys and life and friends. I don't know that I want to add in school. And I know you taught her how to read, and I think that's amazing and incredible, but I know that you know what I'm talking about because you had multiple experiences like that with her this week.
Yeah.
Where you were like, I just can't do it. And we love her.
Yeah.
There's teachers are just special. And they and I think that kids learn better in group environments. I really do, because I think that they take cues from the kids around them. So rather than getting upset when they don't understand something else, they can watch the other kids around them and be like, okay, maybe don't get upset because she's also not getting it. And so the teacher's going to keep explaining or whatever that is.
All great points for sure. I think I just get worried, and this is a conversation for another time, maybe even off air. It sucks to have to worry about your kid's safety at school. Yeah. It has nothing to do with her school because her school is amazing and we love her school. We love the people there. Yeah. The director of the school, we love her. We love the teachers that we've had, but it's just a weird time to have a kid in America and be like, good luck in there. And I think I'm always worried about her safety. So I would be like, I'd consider that, but the logistics are crazy. And as two people that really value social skills, like being able to interact appropriately. Yeah. I think that I learned after COVID, after spending 18 months, not only teaching her, but basically having her only be around us as adults, she wasn't interacting as easily with kids because she was talking like an adult. She doesn't have any brothers or sisters or anything. And so there was like a little bit of a barrier there. We put her into school when she was 3. That was a choice me, you, and her mom, we all made together at 3, not because we can't teach her what a 3-year-old would need to learn, but because there's there's certain things that you can only learn on the playground. Like, you know, what it feels like when someone says something mean to you and you go like, well, I don't want to say something mean to someone else. I didn't like the way that it made me feel.
Yeah.
And we're not going to say mean things or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get bullied, hopefully, by your parents. I'm sure some
hopefully.
people do.
Yeah.
But you might experience bullying at school. Like there's certain things that you can, it's like almost like a rite of passage.
Yeah.
That it just experiences. We talked about experiences that everyone's had last week. That's one of those experiences that most people have is I don't have the safety net of my parents to just scoop me up and save me. I have to learn how to be an individual.
Got to figure it out.
And that's been really good for Brooklyn. And especially for me, who is admittedly a helicopter parent and who's worried about my kids' physical well-being and not getting injured. I think it's good for me as a parent to let her have those experiences away from me so she can be more and more independent.
Yeah. And she's growing and learning, and it's been really cool to watch her in that. I mean, she's still learning certain things, and we're still having to talk to her about stuff. Like, not everyone has to be your best friend. You can have acquaintances, and you can have people that you just say hello to, and you don't have to be like super nice to all the time because they're not nice to her. But I think it's important for her to learn that stuff. And our kid is just so sweet and so kind to everybody. She gives everybody like 10 chances and everything. And I love that about her, but we can't teach her how to not do that. She has to learn that from experience. And the best way to do that is to be surrounded by kids your own age.
It's true.
And to go through the pain, unfortunately, and the hurt.
Yeah.
And the joy.
Right.
You know, of what it looks like to have friends and make friendships.
All good things. It's a long episode this week, but I think it was a fun one. I had a good time. Do you have a good time?
Me too.
I love you.
I love you too.
And we love you guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.